if we're lucky. Hello and welcome back to the Greenhorn Photo Taker. Today is my annual trip up and down the Old Mine Road area in the Delaware Water Gap. I'm currently on the north side, actually still in Stokes. And I was here a couple days ago, and I really failed at a long exposure of a section of the stream along to my left here. So I was hoping I would get here early enough before the sun shines down and start the day trip with a successful long exposure. And what I like about it is that there were 4 swirls in the shot. Just a small little eddy where the water rotates in a couple of neat different perspectives. So hopefully I don't ruin that shot again. And from there, oh, it rained out last night, and these rocks are so slippery. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway, sorry I'm not looking at the camera. From there, we'll head down towards the Gap area. And my focus today will be on places that I've not featured in the past. You know, it's too easy, and I fall into the trap. Hey, you're near Buttermilk Falls, take a picture of Buttermilk Falls. You're near Raymondskill Falls, take a picture of Raymondskill. And suddenly you're repeating the process, and you're falling into a rut. So my goal here is not to repeat any specific destinations. We'll see how that goes. Okay, I'm at the stream now. Wish me luck. So I like the eddy here and the eddy here, but as you can see, there's a really awful bright spot. So I'm going to put on, I don't know how well this will work, but I'm also going to put on my polarizer to see if I can remove some of that glare. Sorry about that. I did not record any of that footage or talk you through that, but I will go back in a second. But the sun is really encroaching upon this area. As I drove up here, it was completely decked out in fog. But as I started walking the trail, the fog started to lift. And I was definitely worried that the sun would hit the water, which would totally ruin any chance I had. And even looking here, you can see the sun is now here and a little bit here. So as it lifts, it'll just come down on the water, and it'll ruin any chance of a long exposure. Okay, so what I used here was my Sigma 16mm and a 10-stop ND filter. When I was here earlier in the week, I tried the 18-50, and I think I liked the 18 millimeter angle better, or field of view better, but I don't have an ND filter that was dark enough to make it work for me. So I put on the 16mm, and if I have to crop it, I'll crop it. But overall, you know, the eddies that I was hoping for really were captured. The problem now is, with a 10-stop ND plus a polarizer, I mean, the exposure time is out of this world. It's going to be something like 40 seconds. So I'll need to get out my timer and everything. I'm trying it at 30 seconds just to see what it looks like, but I'll probably need my bulb timer. And this is where I struggle with long exposure. I really think that I blew out the highlights in that one section of water as the cascade hits the basin. It's just a little bit too white. But at the same time, the rest of the picture is so darn dark. So I'll have to mess around in post to see if I can make this work the way I want to. Typically, I end up just taking a bunch of long exposures at different durations and worrying about it in post, which one's the best. I know there's a better way. So let's wait to see what happens, to see if 40 seconds was correct or not. There are apps that can help you dial it in, but I find them about as accurate as guessing anyway. So I usually just take a few shots to see what looks best on the back of the camera. Those apps really can't tell exactly what might be over or underexposed, so I find it best to use my own judgment anyway. That was still pretty dark. I think it's better. I'm gonna just try one of them at a minute and then we'll get out of here. So let's see how well I timed this. My next stop is on Mountain Road, and it has a fairly steep hill right alongside of it that I believe will block the sun, or better yet, only let some sun through. And what I want to do there is, along this hillside, there are some majestic fern and pine that I'd love to try to take a shot with while everything's still damp from the rain last night and the fog this morning. If I get lucky, maybe I'll get a ray of sun somewhere in that area too. I doubt you can see it, but there's a deer down the road. So this is the area I'm interested in. And what I'm looking for is a section of trees that stand out. I wish we had a little more fog, or not more fog, any fog. Like here you go. I can't zoom in here, but this tree right in the middle has some character. I'm looking for an angle where the trunks don't cross. There's my friend, the deer. Say hello, buddy. Oops, right here maybe. What does that look like? The one issue I'll have is that bright hot spot in the back. Make sure I don't make that the focal point. And then secondly, it is a little windy. So just waiting for that right moment when the ferns are still, so I don't have to really have a extremely fast shutter speed. Now, if I can only find that spot. Where was I? Gotta be kidding me. I think I was over here. No. I was gonna mark it. And then I said, Lou, you don't need to mark it. You're not an idiot. You can find the spot again. And here I am. You gotta be kidding me. Was it here? Okay, I think I found my shot. I want something like this. We'll have to see how low I want to go. I definitely want to show the depth, how much fern there is, but I don't want to show these bald spots. So the lower you get, you can kind of hide that. Yeah, something like that. So I've got my shot lined up here. I don't think it'll work, but I'm going to take it anyway. And what I'm doing is I'm just waiting for a cloud to go in front of the sun, just to dim the bright spot, because it really looks pretty overpowering on the back of the camera as it is right now. So every few minutes a cloud comes by and I'm able to quick get a shot in. Now sometimes there's a breeze which doesn't help, because I think I need something like a half of a second exposure. So that's not working well, but we'll see what I can come up with. It is a lovely spot, you know, as you saw walking in. It's beautiful. I know there's something to tease out here. I just think it's the wrong day. I think coming back on a foggy day without the sun would do this hill justice. But we can't control the weather, so we make do. Yep, here we go. Come on. Missed it. Darn it. So I just spent a minute trying to do some intentional camera motion techniques just for the heck of it. Yeah, this is more of a, well, I shouldn't say a gimmick. Some people are great at it, some people love it. As a landscape photo taker that relies on sharpness whenever I can, intentional camera motion kind of goes against every fiber of my being, but it was fun for a second. And what it is you're really just moving the camera while your exposure, while your shutter, I should say, is open. So it has intentional motion blur in the shot. Let me show you what I mean. So you have to time it. So I have a 2-second timer on, just so I can get ready. I will depress the shutter, the timer will go off, and right when it goes off, I'll move my camera up, or you can move it side to side. I'm going for a look with the trees here that are vertical. So I want to keep those vertical lines, so I'll go up and down instead of side to side. But you'll often see this at a beach, and the beach has horizontal lines. So you would move it side to side. Let's give it a shot. I did that too early. I'm out of practice already. It's been a minute. Let me try it one more time. There you go. Intentional motion blur. All right, I've waited here long enough. I may have gotten a shot off or two that is respectable, but definitely nothing that's a keeper. I will head on to my next destination, which I'm not sure what it is. We'll just drive down Old Mine Road and see what floats our boat. I definitely want something with a river. I haven't seen the Delaware yet this year, up close and personal. So let's rectify that situation. Hello, buttermilk.